Hello, everyone, and welcome to Red Valkyrie Presents. I am, of course, Shae the Red, a little bit pinker than normal.
Shae
and
the pink.
blonder. Shae the pink.
The Dory.
Shae the Dory.
Just keep swimming, Shae. Just keep.
And right out
this. Sorry.
Right out the gate, thank you, Eric, for the $5. He says, this is demerit for tardiness. 10 more of these, and I'll have to write a full disembarbulation.
Very good.
Nice. And trust me, you don't want that.
First, I'll have to look up what the fuck it is, and then...
I know. What the fuck is a disembarbulation? Anyway, I am here, of course, with my co-host, CY.borg Valkyrie. How are you doing, Alex?
Awesome. How are you?
You know, I feel like I'm ready to... I know she's supposed to be, like, a race car driver, but I feel like I'm ready for, like, to go and knock some people down in roller derby.
I feel like you're a California roller derby starfire.
Like, I'm gonna straight up just jack some... Look, I've already had people be like, do you want to do roller derby? You'd make a really good blocker. And I'm like, is that because I'm giant? And they went, yeah. I was like,
if I had more coordination to do roller derby, maybe. But the Speed Racer influence came from one of the webtoons I did on my Amazon Beauty, where it talks about going fast. if you can, get the inference to what that means.
I think we probably could.
Okay.
So for everyone who is hanging out here and doesn't seem to know why, which would be hilarious, this is why we're going to be launching Miss Doy's first campaign ever. How nervous are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Girl, I thought I was gonna throw up.
You can't throw up in the green room. You can't afford the dry cleaning.
I'm on my bed, which is AKA my studio.
Oh, don't do that. Don't throw up there.
Let's not throw up here. I'm like, man, I've done stand-up that didn't make me like this.
You want to know why? Is because when you do stand-up, you get to tell yourself you're playing a character and you're you're performing, you're just being whatever. But when you actually launch something, especially with you, this is why I wanted to have you on, is because I do a lot of poetry and short stories, and this whole thing is an illustrated haiku series.
That's why I became one of your greatest fans, always in your messages going, Shae, what you doing? How you doing? Here, Shae, can you look at this again?
Yeah, so this is what's funny, is because you're doing haikus, like, haikus traditionally they're not my most favorite form of poetry, but the fact that they're poetry and the fact that it's still a pretty kind of raw thing, I totally understand you being nervous.
Well, and I'm not gonna I'm just gonna say it. I put my own romantic love theme on the haikus. Haikus are normally about nature, but I went to other forms of it, and it isn't a shock that I want to throw up, because it's called A Love Undressed. So Le Premier Tome itself is the first volume, but it's part of a series called L'Amour Déshabillé. I'm going to probably mispronounce it. It's French for love undressed. And I used French words because I'm from the South, and it was my homage to growing up outside of New Orleans.
Awesome. Well, before we have you go live, or are you ready? Are you feeling ready and pumped to hit it? Because
I'm ready and pumped. Do I need to share my screen or just hit it?
No. So okay. I'm gonna hit watch the video.
Play video.
And hold on.
And while you do that, I'm gonna hit the button, you guys. You know how many times I've avoided that button in my campaign so I didn't fuck it up?
We hear that a lot. All right, so we are going to hit watch the video. You, Dory, feel free to launch at some point during the video.
Okay.
Shall we begin?
This is not a drill.
This is not a drill. I hit one. Holy shit! It says my campaign is live! Oh my god, the whole world out there is now going to critically, publicly be able to see.
Ignore me no more, or forever miss me gone. Stop caring, I will.
Sweet girl, I am. Yes, don't underestimate me. Good bitch, I will.
There went Pops. one day, suggesting I do something in a whole new way.
Red Valkyrie cheated.
I say that every time. I gave y'all plenty of time. I sat on the confirm your thing for a while. So yeah, that's what you all get.
I might cry.
All right, so you already got 2 backers.
Holy crap.
Let's go over a little bit over your campaign and explain to people who maybe aren't entirely sure off of your artsy video what this is.
Okay, so haikus are 3 lines of words. 3 lines. They're actually the word haiku means God, it's on my thing, and it's like it's a prompt basically. It's like the starting of something. Mm-hmm. And so those 3 lines are 5 syllables, 7 syllables, then 5. They were something I did last year, part of a poetry improvement kind of. I wanted to learn more forms of poetry, and it just so happened earlier this year I ran across Mike Jimmy Lorsha de Bruyne, who is in chat. Thank you, Mike. And Mike and I, because I said to him, I'm like, I have children's books that I've been meaning to illustrate for a while, and I want to illustrate them, that kind of thing. And Pops was on a stream one day, and I was just in chat, and the conversation just one thing led to another, and Pop says, why don't you illustrate your poetry? Mm-hmm. And I had been putting my artwork in my poetry collection books because I'm on my 9th book now. So I have quite a few other poetry books out there, but I had never took the 2 and tried to put them together. Like I would put the art to a poem later. I would go, okay, well, what art piece would work with this? Or,
gotcha.
You know, that kind of thing. But
Right.
never actually sit down with words. And this is why I just immediately, as soon as I found the comic book world, was gravitated to it, because the comic book world, the way that stories are told in a comic book, for me, are very poetic. They're told in a shortened, less narrative form for a story. Mm-hmm. And poetry is very much like that. So it's very akin. So it makes perfect sense. So this book, I started with just creating one singular page image to represent each haiku. But, you comic book people, I'm watching all these streams in my live stream junkie way. And I'm like, maybe I could tell the story of the haiku with the 3 lines with a panel story page. And,
right.
And that's all she wrote. That was, so that's my general overview.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Hello, Wooly. It is nice to have you in the chat. I haven't seen you in forever, hon. And thank you. It is an actual helmet that I only mildly, completely ruined, because I definitely cut into the thing that's supposed to protect your head. But whatever, it's fine.
Whatever.
It's totally cool. It's totally cool. Nefarious was like, "The hell are you cosplaying?" This one.
And for those that don't know this, I'm sure Shae, because Shae knows, but the visor, one of the images in the book is a sweet girl. That's her name. She's Sweet Girl, and she's wearing a visor. You don't see her eyes, and so that's part of the yeah. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yay! So many people came to watch our show. I love you all.
You got like 12 people chilling in the chat right now, which is
man,
awesome.
Know that I love you, man. I love your support. I love the encouragement, because I certainly needed it.
This is something that I love. This is something I love, is that what I've been trying to do is take my short stories and my poems, and then I give them to other people, and I ask them to, either illustrate what comes to mind when they see it or when they after they've read it and things like that, because I like to know how I'm coming across to other people. And if I'm getting the same kind of point across to multiple people, then I know that it's working and I'm hitting the mark. But I think that it's interesting that you're taking your art, because I don't feel like my art is good enough for me to put to any of my stuff. And so every time I've tried, I'm like, that looks like horseshit, and I'm not going to put that in a book because people deserve better. And so I love that you've got your very like coffee house kind of like crazy, like your kind of
like
artwork.
That,
yes,
this kind of art, like my art is very, it's not. Yeah, this is an example. This is just one. I have a whole nother wall of these.
It's like it's the kind of stuff that you would see at like a jazz club or something that you would see like in kind of like one of those off the beaten path like art galleries or something. And it's very raw. There's a lot of emotion that you put into it, which is something that really drew me to a lot of what you do. And why I was like, all right, I definitely have to do what I can to try and help Dory launch, because I mean, it's right up my alley.
And I know I put the Amazon Beauty on my thing today because not everyone knows that I'm the comic, and the comic has been coming out more in some of my artwork, and she's definitely, the Amazon Beauty is going to be the forthcoming comic book in the sense of a comic book. That's forthcoming. That isn't happening today, anyone who's listening. I'm not ready. But yeah, the artwork, I have to, okay, first I'm going to go back because I get to be the 51-year-old mama bear. Anyone's an artist, Shae. So whatever.
I didn't say I'm not an artist. I just don't like my art well enough.
The quality doesn't, that's a different conversation.
Yes, it is.
Okay. That's a whole different, This is adorable to me. It is.
It's also our best-selling mug. Thanks a lot, CY.
You're welcome,
CY outsold me.
Yes.
I've had this conversation with a lot of people. I mentor a lot of people, but so as far as I know, and this speaking from my own experience, I didn't learn to do anything I do overnight. I didn't snap my fingers and do any of what I do. I had to practice. You do 15, 20 minutes. This is my belief. It's just mine. You do 15, 20 minutes of something every single fucking day.
Yeah.
You can get really good at it.
That is very true.
Whether it's writing or comedy, or if you aspire for it. And I'm wearing my Black Hester t-shirt today as an homage to my ex, a man who was all about creating. And in his opinion, a dream isn't a dream until it's actually something you're doing. Because otherwise, it's just fucking theory. Excuse my French.
Yeah. No. Oh,
I know
please.
your guys' channel's monetized.
This is... Look, you as long as you don't drop an F-bomb in the first, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that,
60 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So you're fine. Don't worry.
And work takes great work.
We were at 93 seconds, by the way. I timed it.
I wanna know where Slatguts is to talk about my horrible sailor mouth, because that's normally what ends up happening. Well, it's like, oh, she's only sworn 7 times this hour, and I'm like, fucking right. And he goes, oh, there's 8. Like, yeah, sorry.
There it is. And you're Air Force, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a Navy SEAL, so when people ask me, why do you have such a potty mouth? Well, hello. I was raised by a Navy SEAL, so get out.
So there's many ways. So one of my favorite things, my mother, my dad hates when women swear. It bothers the hell out of him. But and he almost never swears himself. He's always super, when he's frustrated, he's like, I'm incredibly disappointed that this is the path you would take. And you're like, you're the one that looks like a Hell's Angels tatted up that rides around on a Harley and stuff. And then my mom, who looks like this just sweet little woman, she's like, you know what? It's fucking bullshit that they do this. And he's like, oh, babe, why? Why do you gotta swear? So I learned from my mom.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm dying
You're
at
good.
some of these comments. You guys, the love I'm getting in the chat is just making me cry. But
Yes.
Jay Faircloud, I have to shout out because he says Dory J's mic skills. What did he say? Yeah, is putting half of CG to Shae. You know, that no offense to anyone else who's talking and chatting right now, but I had to throw that up because I'm not new at that part. Just so y'all know, I got like almost 16 years at stand-up comedy and performing and spoken word. I mean, performing, yeah. Coming on here as a guest to launch my campaign made me want to throw up. Sure.
That's just because you have high expectations of yourself.
Oh my God.
And that's why we love you. Can I say, this is one of my favorite pieces that you have.
Do you love her?
So here's every time I see this, the first thing I think is I would wear this on a t-shirt in such a heartbeat. Like I would walk around and just be like, behold.
She's going on my Etsy. What I do, I have two things I like to design with my art. One is a skirt. It's a pin skirt. It's adorable. And I have Roar. I have a piece called Roar that's on two of my other females. All of my women like this go on that skirt. Now, granted, I've been working a full-time job, so I haven't had time to design the print-on-demand products, but she's definitely going on a shirt for sure.
Yeah. Oh, as she should. And I like this is something that I found with like my own personal art that has made things a little bit easier is when I try to do like one line, I don't have the control and the line weight down yet for me to do one line and have it look good. But yeah. I do really like the sketchy lines where you go many lines in the same direction. And you're like, it makes an outline, but it's also like, it's not perfect. And it's a little bit sketchy. And I love that look. So
that is exactly what I do, Shae. You just explained, like, okay, so this picture right now on the screen for everyone watching, Pops has the original. And what you're looking at is actually a graphically altered image using a filter. This is not a perfect example of the original artwork, but it is representative of what Shae just said. I do that a lot. Mm-hmm. If I don't get a line straight, I'm just drawing two fucking lines.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those. I've found that the thing that used to make me stop drawing, because despite what people think, I'm not brand new to art. I've taken many art classes. I used to do art back when I was a lot younger. And the thing that always made me stop is I was always in class with that savant that is essentially a human printer who can look at a picture and perfectly replicate it. And I was always so jealous of that until I realized
a lot of those in our chat.
So this is the funny thing, and this is where I will disagree with you, until I realized that girl who is incredibly good at replicating exactly what she sees can do nothing else. She can't do something out of her own imagination. She can't take 2 or 3 pieces and merge them together because that doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, she can't do it. Well, and that's when I stopped being jealous of the person who could do it like a printer. And it's like, yes, is it beautiful? Absolutely. Is it impressive as shit the way that you got blending and the light refraction in the skin tones and everything? Phenomenally impressive. But
this is why I love you, because
if I told you to do like a boar in a tutu, your world will come crashing down because you cannot fathom how to do a boar in a tutu. And I have 5 different ways in my head that I could draw that. Now they're not going to be great, right? But they're going to be a boar in a fucking tutu. Damn it!
Well, the patch design that you've probably gotten sick of talking to me about.
Not at all. Literally, merch.
There's literally 4 or 5 pages of the sketch now because I'd sketch it and I'd be like, yeah, no, and this is where, and I don't care if anyone hears this, I would trace my own work using my light board. And so the patch design I have right now is a final product from many sketches sketched over each other.
Yep. And
digitally enhanced, because that has been, for the purist, biased, very, very judgmental, anti-digital girl that I was a couple of months ago. I will own that to anyone watching. I'm loving the fact that what I might not be able to get just right on paper, I'm at the point now with the digital skills that I've got, which are really small, I can go, oh, I'll just fix that on the app.
Yeah.
I'll just tweak that on the app. I'll just improve it on the app.
We have RJ in the chat. He says Marmalade can't wait to
RJ,
talk to you on
my God, what does
Tuesday.
that say? Hold on, I don't have my glasses.
He says Marmalade can't wait to talk to you Tuesday. It's all he talks about.
we are almost halfway to the halfway mark, which at the halfway mark, based on my calculations, when I hit 500, I'll be able to afford the patches.
Very cool.
Max,
Very cool.
Thank you, Max. Tracing your own stuff is fine. Thank you, Max. Yeah, I never in a million years.
Exactly. It's literally inking. It's just inking your own work.
Correct. Thank you so much. I love you guys for giving me that support, because I can't lie about it. I can't sugarcoat it. I was the purist that thought that she was faking if I did anything that wasn't original.
But see, and this is the imposter syndrome with artists is one of the most real things in the world, and it's so stupid because everyone's like, well, okay, so I drew this, I conceptualized it, and then I penciled it, but then I had to put it on a light box, and then I traced over it, so it's not really art. And it's like, no, you don't get a discount it because of that. It's like, well, I did all of this stuff, but then I let someone else color it. It's not really. It's just the color work was really good. Like, no, that's also not like it's still art. You still did art.
Well, a lot of and for those of you watching, some of the camp or the perks, and we're going to talk about the perks.
Yep, we are about to talk about the perks right now. But go ahead.
Okay, so the featured piece, of course, is the printed book, and it is the 24 pages. As of right now, based on the calculations and estimates and quotes, this is what I'm shooting for. I may add some pages of some art to that. The price will not change. So as of right now, the author's sample one that I have is 24 pages, and it is a full color premium book, and it has every single image of the art that matches the haiku, as well as the story pages. So that's the featured book. That's the printed book. And every perk has a digital included.
Awesome.
Except for the digital. If you just back
so every physical perk.
Yeah.
Correct. Every physical perk, you will get the PDF of this book.
That's awesome.
And
I like that.
Yeah, and when I say PDF, technically I'm saying PDFs plural, because this book has two editions. It has the color, and it has a coloring book. It has an exact duplicate copy printed edition too, which is a coloring book. Everything is in black and white, like that image you have on screen now.
Very cool. So you're doing a digital copy for just $4, and this one's in color.
Correct. And then they can, if they want to get that alone, they can get that alone, or they can get the black and white alone, or they can do both for $7 if they want both.
That is awesome.
But if you back a physical perk, you won't need to bother with those tiers.
You'll have both of them.
I've been shopping, and I haven't been able to support every campaign that I've wanted to support. But I wanted to make sure there was enough options in here so that if someone wanted to back or at least throw something at it, because I've done that. I've had that happen to me where I'm like, okay, there's nothing in here I can afford.
Yeah.
you know? So yeah. And then I have 2 perks in here that are general support perks, because the only reason I'm doing a campaign, other than the fact that someone out there is going to have a book from me, oh my God, that just blows my mind, is I need to invest in a digital device, a really good digital device, because I've done everything I've done digitally, I've done on an iPhone. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I've done on this. So all that stuff you've seen from me, Shae, it's off of this little guy.
Oh, girl. Wow.
Thank you, Jake Faircloud. Dory J is a real one. This how I know she's legit.
Yeah, and I'm not highlighting the one above that because.
Which one?
Yeah. The one that we're not going to read out loud.
Between line 2 and line 3.
But we appreciate the imagery.
I must
Very
have missed
vivid.
something. Is this something in chat?
Yes.
Oh shit.
No, you know what? I'll just copy it and send it to you.
I was gonna say I want to know, because you know.
You'll know.
Okay. Drew this, but yet I don't know how to sell myself when making.
Nope. And no more reading.
Oh, I was reading out loud. I'm so stupid. Holy crap.
That's okay. I get it. All right. So then you've got the printed copy, version 1, edition 2, which is the black and white. So this is like the coloring book one. I mean, it's just a straight black and white, but yeah.
Yeah. The printed version, yes. I'm sorry. The edition 2.
Uh-huh.
I'm still trying to understand that comment. Maybe I shouldn't have asked you to let me read it, but we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that J. Faircloud. Clow. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Or he, I don't know. Oh my God, I'm such a terror.
You got it. Deep breath, Dory.
Edition 2 is a black and white of the exact same thing. So the only difference is that it will be in black and white, and the pages will be the kind you can color as opposed to glossy, of course.
Awesome. Another support tier.
Yes, ma'am. And okay, so this one is a little different. So for the haiku and digital creation, basically what you're going to get is I'm going to write a haiku inspired by you, whoever you may be.
Wow.
And along with that, I'm going to create a digital imagery similar to what the picture shows. That is a digital image that you're looking at. That was totally done on my little iPhone of my prince he's a prince. And there's a haiku that matches. So the person who backs at that one will get a haiku that's personalized for them, a digital image, but I also will print that digital image in a high color 8x10 that I will send to them.
Oh, very cool. That is awesome. So there's all the more reason to back twice.
What's in twice?
I said there's all the more reason to back twice. Back once to get the book, and back once to get, personalized haiku.
There you go. And then, of course, this is a poster. Now, every now and then, this particular piece of art is not in this book. And it says that in the description.
Oh, got this.
Okay, this is here as a poster, and it's available now. And it's basically a sneak peek to the next campaign. Hopefully that'll probably be something that I'm doing in January, maybe. I don't know. It depends. I've been writing. Okay, well, my next book is done. I've been illustrating the art. There's literally a pile of art next to me.
Nice.
And that is one. It's for a book called This Is Not Emotional Burlesque. The cover is being created by Sean Howe of Seanzilla Arts. The art of Seanzilla, excuse me. So if you don't know who Sean Howe is, he is doing the cover art for it. But this is a piece of art that's going to be in that book. So you'll be getting a piece of something that hasn't been published yet, but it's done. It's almost all the work is done. It's on the back burner because I'm just finishing the art now. So It's written.
Yeah. All right. They have a signed hand-painted art page.
So that basically is just, I've got some art pages from the book. I've got it says 10 because I went back through what I've done. So all of the artwork is still here. It's all hand illustrated, hand painted art. I'm going to hold one up. This is one.
It's a dory fish, past Master Dan, you're mean.
So the backer of that would simply get a page of art is what they're going to get.
Very cool.
This is an example of one.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And I have quite a few of those to sell.
Very cool. All right. And then we have...
Ooh, where is she? I kept her out so I could... Where did I put her? Oh my God, I have so much stuff on my bed. I'm in my... You keep going. So that's the original of...
She's crumpled under your pillow.
Yeah,
you slept on her for good luck.
Someone can get her now. So she is the only piece that I'm going to offer up for sale. She's in the next book. She's the one that Shae wants on a t-shirt.
Yes.
This is the original. And I'm glad that I want you guys to see what a finished piece from me looks like. Now, this is what my paper art comes like. Obviously, canvas is a different story. But I seal these with a clear acrylic gloss because I can't stand art being ruined over time, and so you could literally put a cup of coffee on this; it would be fine. So
but don't do that.
But don't do that.
But don't do that.
But that's what you're looking at there is the original. She's the original. She can go now. She's the only original piece I'm giving, like in that way for the next book. From the next book.
Okay.
So the everything and signed ink sketched. So I have signed ink sketches. So for those of you watching, what I got to do, I hadn't done paper art in a long time. And I've been watching a lot of streamers. I've been watching a lot of creative artists in the comic book world. And a lot of guys don't paint. Sometimes they don't paint the sketched inked ones. They do the coloring digitally or whatever. So at some point during this process, I stopped painting the sketches. I stopped painting the inked finished sketches and I started painting copies. And so the hand painted pieces are a painted copy. So there are signed original ink sketches that are available. That's what's part of that perk.
Okay. Awesome.
And the only
get
signed
and painted.
Well, yeah, and I'm signing everything that's going to go to anyone. So if I die and get hit by a bus, you'll have something signed by me.
Oh gosh, that's morbid.
Just saying, man. Just saying. Buy from an artist that's alive. If for all the artists, for me, for Shae, for CY, anyone out there who's an artist, buy from an artist who's alive. Not that dead ones aren't good. We love dead people.
Dead people are awesome.
We knew what it was going to be like when we had Dory on. We knew.
She took a very Stephen King turn.
You knew, Shae. You knew.
I did. I can't.
You knew what this was.
I did. I knew exactly what this was. This is my fault. Continue, Dory.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my fault.
We all just got dead quiet.
So this particular one, so what I'm for volume 2, what that perk is, the Tome do, it basically gives the backer the opportunity to have me create a haiku for them, similar to the other perk, but this will go in volume 2.
Ooh, very nice.
And all of the associated artwork with it, the single page image and the story page image is all theirs for that. They not only get the haiku in the book, now they don't get to write it, but they get to have it in the book, and I will do the art. They don't get to dictate the art, but I will do the art, but they will get all of the art.
Awesome. Very cool.
So it's like a blind commission.
Basically.
Cool.
I don't do dictated art. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, but I rarely will do artwork that someone else is telling me what to do. Yet. I say yet. I had Matt Barr on my master's show this morning, and he said, if you see what they might be willing to pay you, Dory, like he makes a good point. He makes a good point. You throw a big enough number at me, we can have a conversation. And I did put 2 retail tiers on here. I don't know what retailer in the world would put my book in. There's my imposter syndrome showing up, but you never know. You never know.
Stop being negative. So there's 2 different. You can either get the color.
Oh, when you said stop, I thought you saw what I was doing in the backstage.
Oh, how cute! So the next one's pretty exciting for me because this one does take me completely outside of my comfort zone. And there's only one here. The person who backs that will get to write the haiku.
Oh, wow.
And it of course it does still say that the illustrations will be based on my conceived work.
Right.
But they can write me the haiku. As long as it follows the 575, I will do what the haiku muses from me.
When you listed those off, I was so glad that I was right about because I haven't thought about a haiku since like middle school when we learned about them. And so I'm like, that's 17 syllables, right? And that's the only thing I knew.
Well, and I was never really, kind of similar to the artwork thing, I was never really willing to learn poetry that wasn't freeform. I've always been kind of that, I don't want to be in a box. Don't put a definition on me. Clothing's overrated. I mean, I can go on and on with those metaphors. But I want to learn. And right now I'm working on sonnets. That's what I'm studying. And I'm still writing my first one. Okay. I'm just saying.
Nefarious, thank you for the $2. Says Dory Derjink, which means drink. I don't know if Dory has a Derjink, but
I have coffee.
There you go. Good enough.
Because Dory does not to drink.
There you go.
The other kind. But so yeah, so Olive is the cover of the volume 2. She's the original piece of art. And I can grab her if you want to see the original.
I mean, if you want to show her off,
I will show her. She's one of my newest pieces. This is her. This is Olive.
Ooh, let's see. Wow.
My light is shining on it.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna turn that off for a second. That's
wow.
This is
that is really cool. I really do like that.
I'll go sideways. So wait, there we go.
That is very, very nice. Look at Aria. I didn't realize that today was launch day. Yeah,
today was launch day. Oh, thank you, Aria. I'll be on your show on Monday. So excited. So there you go.
Wow.
It's not written in the narrative, and so as long as did he just write a haiku on the fly?
Yeah, it's a haiku that relates to our D&D.
I want to know what Power Attack 5 is supposed to mean. I think that was filler. I'm giving you a C.
How to sketch that?
A C, but
Aria, send that to me.
We did finish the Hello Grimoire.
Aww. So cute.
So ridiculous is what it is.
So in other words, Nefarious, you can definitely back the perk that gives you the opportunity to write a haiku in a digital illustration. I'll do a digital illustration.
There you go.
No,
that is
no, I did not paint this with my phone.
She's like, I dipped my phone in paint and then I threw it against the canvas and this is what came out.
Yeah, that is, so for those of you watching, like this transition to do these when after Pops made that comment that day, and I'm like, okay, I used to do I literally famous last words. Oh yeah, that is one of my digital creations. It's a digital illustration with a haiku, and it is I do have a webtoon that's for the haikus that are separate from my comedy one. Cool. But that's another example of what it would look like if you got a digital with the haiku. So, but yeah, like it probably the thing that I had to adjust to the most when I went back to starting this project was I hadn't worked on paper in a really long time. I hadn't worked on sketch paper. I mean, I had gotten to a point with my artwork on canvas that I would sketch right on the canvas using watercolor pencil colors. Sketching on paper, it was just I had gotten out of the practice. I used to do it all the time. So getting my hands to get back to used to being in that form or fashion, and then it's way more confining to be on a piece of paper as opposed to a canvas. It's there's less space. And so I did have to get back in. I had to get through some growing pains. One of my live stream videos of me painting one of the pages, a lot of different things were going on personally, but the whole process in general kind of came at this like overwhelming wave, and I cried during a live stream for 45 minutes, and I stayed live painting because I refused to go offline just because I was crying.
Good for you.
And so one of the haiku in the book is about it. I'll show you. I won't.
Hey, Dory, real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm refreshing.
Oh my God.
561.
Woo! You guys.
Speaking of crying on stream, we're going to make her do it again. Yeah, like you've got somebody who's got everything getting signed. You've got somebody who's got signed hand-painted art page. Yeah, you've got,
Oh my God,
some
you
stuff.
guys.
Look at that. Cover 2's gone.
Someone got the painting?
Yep. Someone got your painting.
Oh my God.
Shae,
Yes.
That's just amazing.
did you happen to just buy something?
No,
Shae,
I didn't. As much as I would have loved to, I can't afford to right now.
Aw.
But trust me, I would have loved to, because it's really fucking pretty.
send me your Indiegogo login, Shae.
I mean,
No.
I'm fucking floored. First of all, okay. 6.5 years ago, I wouldn't even show anyone my art. It took an ex-boyfriend yelling at me, and he was this super fucking low-key California surfer, total Spicoli, right? Like, this yelling was not this man's thing.
Mm-hmm.
he was too chill with his Mary Jane. He got no time to be yelling. But when he saw one of my pieces, I actually sketched him. I did a piece of him. And he looks at it and he's like, "What the hell?" And he was an artist that painted on surfboards. And I hadn't even told him I could draw. And he didn't get mad in per se in the angry way, but if you're an artist out there, you could probably understand how his reaction was. And he's like, "What are you doing? Why? What?" So I'm just floored beyond belief that someone got Olive, and it just blows my mind because she's really the biggest, not my biggest painting ever, but she was a lot of work. She came out of nowhere. And that's what I love about all of my artwork in general comes out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I will go into a piece with a plan, and I have to say 9 times out of 10, they're not as good as something like Olive. And for, anyway.
Well, it's because you get out of your own way. And so and that's what a lot of artists have a problem with, is they have such a set goal or idea, and then they can't roll with it. And so they, like, when something isn't working exactly as they want, they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And then they get frustrated, and you instead kind of let the paint and the canvas tell you where you're going to go, which is actually something I'm working on for
Thank God for Bob Ross.
Hopefully the next piece.
That came from Bob Ross.
Yeah.
I was just Peter Retro Palmiati is in chat, and yes, Pops, the piece that I donated to Madness that Pops has is it's if she weren't in the closet packed up, prep, because all of my artwork either hangs on the wall if it's too big to go in a box or something, or I prep it and pack it so that it's pristine until such time it goes to its forever home. So I don't. You guys tell me. Will I know when I go back to my Indiegogo who bought that painting?
Yeah, okay. You'll be able to see it.
Okay, so for me, I can't even describe the words I can't describe really with words. Here's the poet, the author writer, who can't describe with words what it means to send a painting to its forever home. Mm-hmm. Because that's what they are. I'm like, no, these are not my sons, but my artwork is my labors of love in a way that's just unbelievable. But the piece Pops is referring to in chat is called Surrender. It's an 8x10. It's a woman in a similar pose as this. So she did that painting that Pops is mentioning did inspire Olive, but they're totally different paintings. Like Olive came out. Olive, the only similarity is the pose. And that's where the similarity stops. Yes, you, Peter.
Look, Nefarious says, unless it's anonymous, she will still eventually have to know who backed it, because she will have to mail it.
Yes, I have to ship it to someone.
It'll be in there for you.
Nefarious, in case you haven't looked too closely at your Indiegogo, you can look at the backers and it will show you, all the anonymous crap that you put in for shipping. But then there's also a column that says payment. So, just saying.
Yes. Yes.
I'm super excited, you guys. I can't even believe this. The love. And I apologize to anyone in the chat if I missed something you said, if I didn't say something to something you said. Because when I'm broadcasting and I'm in the chat, I'm like, hey, pay attention to me. when I'm in chat, I'm like, hey, I just chatted.
I said things. You should read them. Slackgut says this girl comes on here not knowing the kinds of questions this crowd would have. One of the questions being, for the olive piece in her chest, was that her insides or a heart or a boob?
So, no, I love this question because here's why she's called Olive. Olive was the first Native American woman who was known for having her entire body tattooed.
Ooh.
And when I did this woman, if you look at her, every part of her skin is a tattoo. There's little images in here. There's little, this is a dragon on her breast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a dragon, by the way, on her breast. That's a dragon. And there's
snake on her arm.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
There's little hearts in here. She's fully tattooed is what she is. Sorry, I'm glad that you asked that question because I hadn't even said that and someone already bought her. But yes. And
that's
so
awesome.
Some of the stretch goals are prints, you guys. And I didn't know what to put. I knew what to put for stretch goals for at least the halfway mark and I can't remember. I put, well, we know we're getting patches. Woohoo! Because I got the quote from Tony, so I know what to expect. So we're good. Aria's backer number 6. Woohoo!
Yay! Thank you, Aria.
So excited.
So for anyone who was wondering about stretch goals, this is kind of where you were talking about. This is where I'm
at now. I'm if you don't know me, hello, my name is Dory, and I am an overachiever. And if there's one thing that will make me want to throw up, other than coming on the show today and like showing my work off, is letting someone down with my art or my product. I can't fucking stand that, And Shae and Aria specifically, and Mike, who were here, would know what I mean because I went to you and I'm like, help me. I'm like, help me. I don't want any part of this campaign to put me in a position where I can't fulfill what my backers are asking or what I'm offering, what I'm saying I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So I can confidently say, if you back this campaign, I will send you a 5x7 print of Sweet Girl. I know for a fact I can do that. I've already priced it. I know what I can afford. We're getting the patches. We know that. That patch design there and what the patch will look like may change. Or I may do more than one patch. We will see.
Okay. If
they backed it with the expectation that that's the patch, am I in trouble now?
No, yeah. The thing is I feel like if you say all that you really need to do here is I would just put in a little line that says asterisk like patch design subject to change.
Okay.
Just throw that in there and they'll be fine.
But while we're on this, I want you guys to hear me when I say that Shae is the first person who's ever really collaborated with me on a piece of art. And it matters. I mean, I've sketched this girl, like I said, 5 or 6 pages of sketches, and then I finished her on digital. For those of you who are looking at her, my beautiful Speedy Dory. This is Speed Dory. She is, I paid homage to Speed Racer, one of my favorite cartoons ever. I paid homage to the Dory fish because my name is Dory. And I've paid homage to Marilyn Monroe. If you don't notice the pose, if you don't recognize the pose, she is in the pose of Marilyn over the grate with the dress flying up. So that's what we're looking at here. And of course, if you look at Shae's cosplay today, she nailed it.
Corvenus wanted to know, are you planning on putting any more paintings up as future perks?
Corvenus
loves original art.
Corventus, I absolutely could, but I'll tell you, it probably, they're all on my webpage. Like everything I have painting wise, and that's a good point. I'm going to have to go to my website and take Olive off of my public shop. But yes, you know what, to answer that question, yes, there's original artwork on paper in the campaign now, but that doesn't mean I can't put up more art. Because I have
absolutely, and throughout your campaign, if you do more stuff, if you do something that you're like, I'm okay letting this one go, or I've got, my good scans, my good pictures of it, and so this can go, and you want to put it up there, that is something that you absolutely can add as you go.
Right. And Corventus, going to DorisJonesLaborsOfLove.com and looking at what I have is a good place to start, because those are all canvas paintings. Like most of what I don't have on my website are new. Like the things I don't have, like I just finished this today. Where is she? Where did she go? So this is one I'm working on this. Is this upside down? No. It's a pregnant woman and a man coming to life out of a tree. It's part of it. It's one of the illustrations for the poetry book I'm currently working on. But yes, I absolutely would be open to adding more paintings. Particularly, I only put Olive on here because she's the cover for volume 2.
Yeah.
And then so to answer any other questions, anything else I've missed in the chat? I'm sorry. Now I can understand why people miss chats while they're online.
Yeah. This is exactly why.
And Shae, do you mind going back down to that picture of Magic Man so that everyone who's watching can hear me? Okay, go back.
This one?
No. That is actually a haiku I wrote for Christy Shin.
Okay.
The one called "She is a Warrior." That will be one more. It's the gentleman, the black and white image of that right there.
There you go.
Okay. So the Magic Man collection is a poetry collection I published earlier this year. It has an accompanying or whatever.
Oh my gosh. See, now I can't say it.
Accompanying.
Thank you.
It had a full-length music spoken word poetry album. It's free. It's free for download on my Bandcamp. And the t-shirt I'm wearing is Black Hesher. That's who we're looking at here. This is Van Bates, Black Hesher. He died April 23rd of this year. He was an artist. He was a creator. He was a man who believed in supporting other artists. He spent most of his days promoting other people, not him. And one of my favorite lines in a rap song of his, Shae, is, "Anyone can rap. You are no longer special." He was a rap singer. He was a rap, grunge, hip hop, punk, all of that. And his belief was anyone, like I was saying about being an artist, anyone can be an artist. And I'm not saying that people out there who are artists, even myself, I'm not saying we're not good or we're not great, but I haven't met a Michelangelo yet in my lifetime. So
fair point.
That helps me keep my humility down. And when I met this, so I have him in here, and I can't remember, honestly, at this point, I'm so starstruck. I'm so in a surreal place of divinity, and I'm like on this high. I don't even know what I wrote in the campaign on that page, but I'm fairly certain that it has to do with the fact that anyone who signed up for pre-launch got that PDF. What do I say about it? Oh, okay. The YouTube channel that's there has all the music videos that matches the book. So if you got the PDF, but you don't want to read the PDF, fine, go play the playlist. But the album is available for free if someone wants it. And I have him in there because he has a lot to do with why I know you people today.
That's awesome.
And I didn't enter in. If I hadn't met Van, I wouldn't have met other indie creators, and I wouldn't have had the belief I have today, where if I'm going to buy anything going forward, books, art, comic books, you name it, it's going to come from an indie creator. And he is who I have to thank for it. That's why it's in there.
That is awesome. You also have jumped up to 581 with 6 backers.
Yay!
Doing fantastic. I have zero doubt that you are going to hit your incredibly modest goal of 1,000. But for anybody who is interested in art, interested in poetry, interested in something a little bit different, but that still helps an indie creator, definitely consider backing this. It's not terribly expensive to back. It's a pretty decent deal. Oh, thank you so much, Lola, for coming by. She says, I've really enjoyed listening to Dory today.
I've got
Dory
to spend a few late nights with Lola and her gang, and I've been in her stream. That's fun because I'm a late nighter. I don't need a lot of sleep, and I agree with Mike's comment in chat. By the way, you know that I usually go with you. You're not Michelangelo, and you're not Stephen King. So those two things keep me very, very humble.
Cocaine Stephen King or Stephen King present?
Can I just say, Peter said, I'm so happy to see you successfully launch your creation, Dory. I've got to run, but so happy for you. Continue to share this out. Speak soonage.
Thank you, Peter.
This is probably one of the coolest moments and one of the things that I love and am also slightly jealous of having so many people on our show, because I have yet to sit down and actually work on my stuff. But being able to see so many people just take the plunge and go, fuck it, I put my shit out there, we'll see what happens. And then watching people have that positive reaction is something that we really, really love to do. And I'm so happy that we got to be part of your journey and kind of help kick you off.
Shae, I'm gonna take this opportunity to put Shae on the spot, because for all of you, she goes, here it comes. Yep. For all of you that's watching, no offense to the gentleman here, none. But as a woman in this world, I had to learn real quick to put on my stand-up comedy skin. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, in stand-up comedy, men, their egos walk into rooms before them. Okay? And I've met a lot of humble comic creators, comic artists and writers. I've met a lot of humble ones. But I had to learn real quick, watching live streams and being part of live streams with comic book people. I had to learn real quick I was going to need to put on that thick skin that I used to wear when I went to a show to perform. And Shae stood out to me as a broadcaster because you don't pull any punches with the advice you give creators. I love that. I don't need anything sugar-coated to me. I need it straight, you know? And I know Peter had to run, but my Amazon Beauty webtoons is what it is, my 6 little episodes. Because he came to me and he said, you know, you got to stop doing it this way. And I'm not going to go into details because the details are irrelevant. Mm-hmm. And I did. I completely deleted it and I started over. And what's there now, those 6 little episodes now, I can stand behind confidently because I had an expert come to me and say, you know, this isn't really working.
Yeah, and here's a better way to do this. Here's something that would get it across what you're trying to get across. Exactly. All that kind of stuff. And
that's why when I don't even know how long ago I started bugging this beautiful woman in DMs, but I'm like, hey, Shae, I know you don't know me that well, but you're going to get to know me and I'm going to.
This is why I like Dory. Dory's like me. She's like, hi, we're friends now. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you want or think, like we're now friends and it's happening. So the sooner you embrace it, really the easier it'll be for both of us.
Yeah, this will be easier if you just let me take you hostage for this friendship and we move on.
Yeah, and Dory literally she hit me up and I was like, I recognize this. I do this. I like this woman. Yep, we can be friends.
And I trust is a hard thing for me. It's a hard thing for me to have for anyone. And I trusted. I had this knowledge somehow from having just the few times I got to watch you online. I'm like, I can trust this woman. I can trust that what she's going to tell me is real. It's legit. And she's not going to do it to hurt my feelings. She's not going to try to blow smoke up my ass. Nope. And I knew, and this is the same reason I went to Aria. It's the same reason I went to Mike. It's the same reason I've gone to anyone Peter, that I've gone to and said, hey, you know, because you put me with a piece of canvas and some paint. Mm-hmm. I got you. I got this. Don't even try to tell me what to do. Right. I'm probably going to, you know. But this, putting anything out like this, oh no. I needed experts.
This is a whole different beast. And, you know, we've had people that are professionals. We've had people that have done this like on one side of the coin or another, and they're like, I know what I'm doing, and then they get into it and we're like, hey, so you know you're not charging for shipping, right? And they're like, oh wait, what, for real? And I was like, yeah, you should probably fix that. Also, you see these like 10 things that don't make any sense in your campaign, and these things where it's really ambiguous and what you sound like you're promising versus what you just explained what you're promising are not the same. They're like, I might need some help. We're like, yeah, we're here. We got you. Like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this, because this is a different beast. Like, this is a whole different experience. And anyone who's put out a campaign, anyone who's been a project manager on a campaign, who's interviewed as many campaigns as we have, like, any of them will tell you this is not the same as just sitting down and creating something, sitting down and writing or painting. Like, this is entirely different.
Right. Wow.
It's scary.
Yes. It is. And it's, you know, already just knowing that Olive's going to her forever home, to whomever backed her. That's amazing. Like, I knew going in that if someone took Olive, then we would be good as far as the campaign was concerned, because this really pays for the printing of 100 and patches. That's why I set the goal at the halfway mark the way I did. Mm-hmm. You know, it might be a little under, but that's okay. But we're way closer to it than where we were. Like, yeah. You know, because before we started at 1 o'clock, we were nowhere.
Well, and for anyone who maybe didn't notice, it's a flexible goal. So obviously we want to far surpass where she is.
Oh yeah.
But it's happening regardless.
You're gonna get what you back regardless. I do have this is the one copy that I have so far that I got from Amazon, because this is printed from Amazon. I do like the kind of binding that has the glue as opposed to the staple. Mm-hmm. So when I talk to my printing people, because I've talked to a few of them, we've been talking about that. So the book is done. So that's the one thing for anyone watching or thinking about backing. It's not something I have to go do the work. You know, there's two things left to do in the book that I have planned to do. I am going to go back through the artwork and touch up the lines. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm going to seal them with that gloss spray. That's it. That's all I really have left to do for the artwork. And then the lettering in the book is my own font. In this sample, it's a font I picked in whatever my manuscript was, but mm-hmm. the actual book people are getting, it's going to be your handwriting. The lettering is mine. Yeah. Volume 2 is going to be hand lettered. I've already got the plan for it. As an artist, I'll tell you guys, and some of you probably can relate, I couldn't stand trying to figure out where to put the lettering when I got to that point. And I had never done illustrated poetry to this in a panel page. I'd never done that before. And it irritated me as an artist so much. I will fucking hand letter volume 2. Okay. I'm doing it on the page because that suits me. I'm like, I'm not going to try to sit here for 5-10 minutes ever again in my life figuring out, where do I put this letter? Where do I put the box? No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Very true.
Isn't this how Buddha got his start? Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we've covered everything on the campaign. Okay. You are doing phenomenal. You're at 581, which is 58% of your goal. 6 backers. You still have 30 days because we just launched. So if this even remotely interests you, make sure that you share it out, because Dory is a phenomenal person. We all know that, but this is a very unique experience. This is a very different kind of experience from what a lot of us get, and I think that it would be a really fun, eye-opening kind of book for a lot of people to get their hands on. So definitely share this out everywhere. Dory, I wish you all the best. I really hope that you go on a bunch more streams. I think it's going to be epic. Sai, do you have anything else?
Just what I said in the chat.
Will you send me a picture of you?
Yep. Well, I didn't take one beforehand. We'll take one before I take it all off. That's for sure. So we'll take it backstage and I'll send them over to you.
I would love to have a picture, at least for me. And
absolutely.
If I can post it out to the world and go, look what this woman did for me.
You can post it wherever you want.
I'm all about that. Thank you for making her full screen. That's so perfect.
Yes, and I did. For anyone who's curious, I am painted. So I'm not, like, the fact that you can't see my tattoo is because I painted over it. So it's not a shirt.
drop dead. She's got the Marilyn hair that matches mine, and she's got the Dory
All
on
right.
her. It
Do the
almost
pose
looks
you
like
want.
you even did the emblem. The D
Got it.
emblem is straight from my artwork, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I did
Okay.
unintentionally flip your fish the other way, but whatever, it's fine.
No, that's
I
such
flipped
a
your
you know,
fish.
it's such an honor that you did that. I mean, just in general, and that you took it, because the only reason the emblem on the helmet is as good as it is because of Shae's input, because she collaborated and and contributed to the patch design, and she's like, yeah, you got to redo that D. You got to redo that fish. And so yeah, one of the designs is not that fish.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll make sure
It
to
was
get
love on
you. I'm
first
sure Sai took a couple of pictures because that's what Sai do.
I sent 2 to you, Shae, and I sent the second one to you, Dory.
Thank
the one
you
that she was
so
happy
much.
with. You're welcome.
Yep.
That looks, and I flipped your fish. I love that, Lola. Mike says pink. It was love on first sight. Congrats.
Yeah.
Lola. Thank you, everyone that's in chat. If I didn't pay attention to you in chat, trust me, hunt me down. I will pay attention. I don't ignore people. I'm not that girl.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love everyone who's hanging out in chat, everyone who's back. Couldn't do this without you. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you so much to Sai for all of your hard work. Appreciate you.
You're
And
very welcome.
thanks, Dory, for trusting us to help launch you. It's super exciting.
Very exciting. So much. Thank you very much for the honor.
Absolutely. And we will catch you guys very, very soon for one of our next shows. So thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you later.